Hello, welcome to the show. Hello, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. Today was episode 13 of season 2, and we are moving right along. I guess we are just past the halfway point of this season, and Freddie and I are going to have to talk about what we do for season 3 and when we're going to do it, because now that the weather is warm and restrictions are easing, I think it's going to be a bit more difficult to execute a live show successfully or just with a regular audience. But that's a different subject for a different day. Today is the 20th of May, and this is a special day because today would have been the 61st birthday of Israel Kamakawiwo'ole, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm never sure. Please, somebody correct me if on the right way to say it. He's also known for short as Iz, and I've heard some people say Izzy. Why do I like him? Well, for one, his voice is just beautiful. I mean, just beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. And he really has one of those ways when you listen to his music, it sort of makes me float away and it takes me to a different place in the universe. And I really appreciate artists who are able to do that successfully. It's not an easy thing to execute on. That's one. But also the medley that we chose today, which is, I think, what the tune that he was most famous for, was his rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow and What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. And, you know, these are hard times. So one of the things that Freddie and I try to do is when we think about music, we try to generally keep it light regarding subject matter or tone. We have done a lesson in the past on what is the difference between the emotional difference, or how a chord can be emotionally charged. So we did the difference between major chords and minor chords. And we also did a lesson where we talked about happy music with actually sort of sad lyrics. And we did Django Reinhardt's version of After You've Gone as an example of that, or the song. I don't think he wrote that, but the inspiration behind that is Django Reinhardt. And conversely, Ella Fitzgerald's version of Blue Skies, which are very happy lyrics with pretty sad music behind it. So, and we will eventually do some other lessons that go down that pathway, just because I think it's important to discuss, and Freddie does as well, the universe of music and what it can do in a way that is approachable for children and people who may not be musically inclined. So, but today, again, What a Wonderful World and Somewhere Over the Rainbow, it's a cool thing to introduce the idea of a medley. Some people don't know what a medley is, or maybe they do, but just they don't know the English word for medley. A medley is when you take 2 or more songs and you press them together in one song, or you combine them in one song. There are several ways to do it. One way that's a simpler way, or an easier way for the performer, is to take songs. If you have a few songs that have the same or similar chord structure, right? Or at least a part of the song that's a chord structure is a bridge, you can jump from one song to the next. And that's exactly what Izzy did for these 2 songs. This chord structure is a super famous chord structure. It is the 1, 5, 6, 4. Okay. And that's been used so many times. There's a very viral YouTube and Facebook clip, I believe, by the Axis of Awesome, where they did, I think, 20 or 30 songs. So, you come from the land down under. Find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. Take on me, take me on. I can't sing this high, but you get the point. Hey, Angela, so nice to see you. So this is a concept I wanted to plant in the minds of the kids, and also using the vehicle of these two very happy songs. Because were these tunes Izzy's songs? No, they were not his songs. Does it make his recording of it any worse? Absolutely not. I think most people on Earth have heard his version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow and What a Wonderful World. Moreover, I think probably a good majority of the people who know of these tunes at all know them from him. And that, I think, is an interesting thing that happens when we talk about covering music. You know, I have no problem with people covering music. I think it's a cool thing. I think it's a great way to help music live on and spread around joy, or whatever the emotion of the song or the feeling or the spirit or the time of the song conveyed. What I like the most about covers, and not everybody shares my opinion, is when people make a cover their own, right? I live in a country, I live in Germany, and when you actually go out and you play, and also when you're a pub musician, and this is around the world, a lot of people really prefer when you stay true to the original. All right, there are a lot of people who are of that mindset. They think it's very important not to mess with it at all, and some of them get very upset if you do. I'm of the other mentality. I think it's really great to put your own spin on things, to do something in your own voice, which is another concept that we got to talk about today. If you listen to the original versions of Somewhere Over the Rainbow and What a Wonderful World, they are orchestrated songs. I mean, it's high production. There's a lot of instruments. There's a lot that went into the creation of these songs. To me, Izzy's is outstanding for two reasons. One, he had an extraordinary, otherworldly voice. I mean, he had one of those voices. Of course, I never had the privilege of being in a room, but God, it's one of those things I listen to, and I don't, there wasn't auto-tune back then. He recorded that. Maybe they had some compression and stuff like that, but he just had an angelic voice. And the other thing that makes the song stand out is it's the opposite of incredible orchestration. He executed the music of the song with a ukulele, with a very tiny instrument with 4 strings, and that made it stand out. I think that's cool. Another great example of a cover which the version is more known in certain cases as the original is Hurt by Hurt by 9 Inch Nails. See, I almost slipped there. Many people ask me to play Hurt when I'm, if I get the chance to play on the streets again, or if I play in pubs, and they always say, can you play Johnny Cash's Hurt? I happen to come from a time when, I remember when 9 Inch Nails came up, and I remember that song. And Johnny Cash's song, again, very, very different, right? A completely unique take on the tune. And this is where we come to the concept of voice, which I mentioned in the show to the kids. I said, it's okay to play someone else's music. And I said, my opinion is it's great when you can do it in your own voice. When I say voice, I don't mean the voice that you sing with. I mean your personality. I mean your vibe, your spin on things, your take on it, right? And examining the version of Hurt by Johnny Cash and the original, okay? I wouldn't call the original orchestrated, but I would definitely call it produced, if you ever heard it, okay? And the video is bananas. And Trent Reznor is, of course, he was a master producer then, and he's done even more things since his come up. But the song was incredibly dark. I mean, it is somewhat of a dark song, no doubt about it. But when you hear it in Johnny Cash's voice, it still conveys, I believe, what the song is about. But when it's just him and his acoustic guitar, it takes a totally different meaning. So that's really those are really the 4 points I wanted to cover today. Pay some homage to Izzy, right? Because that was actually my wedding song. Okay, Angela, you were there. I think you probably remember that. And play a happy tune in times that are hard for a lot of people. Introduce the concept of a medley, right? And also talk about what it means to execute something in your own voice. So that was the point of today. We're taking Thursday off this week. Tomorrow's Father's Day. I completely forgot, but I've got plans with my family. So instead of doing the show tomorrow, we're going to do it on Sunday. We've got a really neat show on Sunday. We're going to introduce a new instrument. On Saturday, we are going to be having a guest. Her name is Ayana. She's from Ohio. She's a child caretaker. I believe she runs a child care facility and which has pre-K and kindergarten in it, as well as the wee ones. And she's going to be walking us through a couple of the tunes that she does. One which shows a kid how to rhyme, and the other one which is sort of a percussive tune, which gets the kids to do the thing. But we're gonna do that. And on Friday, I think Freddie and I've got something special planned, but I don't want to spoil it. It would be another song from Ghana, but we've got to get a couple things right to make that happen. But I think we're going to go back to Ghana on Friday. So we'll see you then. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Goodbye. See you next time. 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 Peace.